welcome to another episode of The Bearded Way of Life. I'm here today with the kitchen connoisseur himself, Mr. Luke Singh of F&L Kitchens. We're filming from his offices, and you can see some of the beautiful stuff he puts out behind us.
Thank you.
Luke,
thanks for having us on.
over to you, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
So, thank you very much for coming on today.
Pleasure.
Do you want to tell everybody a bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name's Luke. I'm the director of F&L Kitchens. What has come on this podcast today? I've met Sam recently, and it's just a great passion of my mental health because we've all got it. It's the hidden illness, shall we call it? So I think it's just good to talk. It's good for people to hear that. Yeah, like this lovely showroom and all the great kitchens we put out on social media are great, but there's more to that.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's such a key element, and that's why we're looking to get talking with more and more people about it. And you've built up a hugely successful company. You're putting out an absolutely beautiful product, and the link to his accounts will be in the bio, guys. Just so you could check out what they put out. But that doesn't come easy.
No, not at all.
And I saw you on another podcast talking about where you started and how you come. And obviously that's one hell of a journey. So how did you find that journey? Building your way up from the bottom to where you are now.
Yeah.
What sort of battles have you faced?
It's challenging. The easiest way to put it. In regards to you have to go on the journey. I think the best people are made raw. So just for context, my first ever job at 16 and a half was pushing trolleys around Morrison's supermarket. It is probably one of the most socially degrading jobs out there. There's an image which there shouldn't be because it needs to be done. We go supermarkets, we need a trolley. But it is. But it's where I started, and rain or shine, I was doing it. And then, I evolved. I got into kitchens, and I got into kitchens young, 19. And I done well very quickly. Some would say too quick.
Yeah.
Because I saw the money. And I saw the money and I ran. And I ran more towards it and wanted more money. And that just had a massive effect on me as a person. I probably couldn't say I changed. Because people do. If I gave you £3 million today, you change. And yeah, I just, there was nowhere along that line. So I was a store manager of a well-known kitchen company. By the age of 20, there wasn't anyone ever said to me, "Are you okay? Is this a lot?" Yeah. Being treated the same as the 40-year-old, which is absolutely fine. But I wasn't ready. Yeah. I wasn't mentally ready for that. And this wouldn't be here without that. So I'm not saying it was that bad, but there was a lot of change.
No, massively, and I can agree with you wholeheartedly on that. At 21, I'd gone bankrupt because one of my businesses had gone under. 19 years old, I was securing £750,000 contracts in construction. There's no way on earth I should have been doing it.
No.
The mentality was there, the belief in myself was there, the experience wasn't. And as soon as I got stung by one of the big fish, I didn't know what to do. Yeah. I didn't know who to turn to because I had no life experience.
Yeah.
And, your story sounds very similar to
that.
Yeah,
it is. And there's no support, and it affected, I wouldn't say it affected me massively in terms of I fell into a deep depression because I didn't. But, it affected my home life for sure. And we went through a journey because of it. It affected my next move. I was scared for the next move. And, when I set this up 5 years ago nearly now, I was cautious. I didn't go gung-ho. Yeah. Because it's mine. Some people now would say I'm a risk taker. And I think in my older age and maturity, I had a conversation with my missus last night. I don't really care anymore in terms of not care about you or my clients. I'm going to say what I think and do what I think's right. And I'll take that risk if I think the reward is there, or I won't.
But do you know what? I think a lot of people appreciate that now. They appreciate that honesty. They don't want somebody that's going to brown nose them and tell them what they want to hear. They want to hear the facts because at the end of the day, you're the guy with the experience, you're the guy with the knowledge. So they want to hear the cold hard truth, even if it's not what they want. On your kitchens, for example, if they come into you with this massive idea, and it could backfire for you as well.
Yeah.
They could come in with an idea of a 200 grand kitchen, and actually you turn around and go, well, why are you doing all of that? Do that, and that. All of a sudden, they're 200 grand kitchens down at 130 grand, and you've lost out on 70 grand. But people appreciate that honesty and that almost brutality with them.
I would say 90% of people do.
Yeah.
I've given away, turned away 3 kitchens this year. It's what is it? 26th of January.
Yeah.
I've turned away 3 kitchens because I've given a price, and they go, "Oh, they're doing it cheaper." I'm like, "Got it."
Yeah.
I've actually got a customer at the moment who said to one of my builders, "I can't believe he's done that."
Yeah.
And that's my decision. There's no one else. If the profit margins don't meet, we're not involved. But you have to get to a place mentally, not even in business, where you can say no.
No, exactly that.
And I think I'm just there.
Yeah, and you've hit the nail on the head there, to be fair. Having that ability to be able to say no is so much more difficult than what people realise. Yeah. It's a challenge in itself, and that's something I struggled with a lot in my younger years. You want to be the yes man, you want to please everybody, you want to do everything, but you realise with experience, with knowledge, that actually just saying yes and trying to do everything puts you further behind than when you originally started.
Yeah, like we're booking appointments now, and I think I've booked an appointment yesterday for like the 24th of Feb, because I said that's when I'm next free.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we'll take it. I could have squeezed them and, for better word, busted my balls and got them in earlier.
Yeah.
Why? For what reason? And I say the same to my staff. My staff know the line, and they also know if someone's taking a piss, tell them where to go.
Yeah.
Because you'll take it home. There's no way, shape, or form you can't take it home. I've had a huge incident recently where probably mentally and in business we could have gone back quite a few steps. I did mentally. We had the dust is sort of settled, so I can talk about it a little bit. We had a customer complaint, which I have not had in 5 years.
Yeah.
And it got severe. It was the issue was just unwarranted, in my opinion. He asked for a huge amount of money in compensation. We're talking, tens of thousands of pounds. Yeah. And it felt like a personal attack. It took me to a dark place. So I'm like, I've done everything in my power to make sure this client's job has gone well. I haven't thought, oh shit, we shouldn't have done that. And he just come for me. He come for me, not physically, but mentally.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's attacking me. And only 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, I've called him up and goes, enough's enough.
Yeah.
I ain't taking this shit. Like, if you're going to come for me, then come for me. If not, then fuck off.
Yeah.
And he fucked off.
No, and you know what? It's something that you see far too often in your industry, in construction. As the trade, as the supplier, doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong, you're always wrong.
Exactly.
And you're always fighting a losing battle from the offset.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to throw the toys out the pram, then you're in a losing battle.
Yeah. And you end up, my fitters kill me every day. Like, don't give it to him. Don't give it to him.
Yeah.
But equally, you get to another place in business and in life where you're like, okay, so I've got this problem. I could pay this for it to go away.
Yeah.
Or I can argue it, and it takes up more of my time and more of my resources, and the time I need to spend in my team, I'm spending 3 hours on that. Like, or if I just paid £100, it would go away.
Yeah.
So I am one of them people. I'll pay £100 for it to go away.
No, exactly that. And you've got to, you could spend 3-4 hours on that one issue.
Yeah.
And it's over, like you said, £100. But actually, in them 3-4 hours, especially your example, you could have looked at 3-4 different kitchens. Yeah. You could have 3-4 different conversations, and you could have accumulated £100 worth of work.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
£100 is a drop in the water.
But you've got to. I was always taught from a young age, you've got to spend money to make money. Always taught it.
Yeah.
I've, just as a business, we're growing. We've just employed 3 more staff. So I've been quite generous, shall we say, with the bank card.
Yeah.
My office manager needs something. I'm like, yeah, order it.
Yeah.
We need this, order it. I'm reining that back just ever so slightly because my wage bill is tripled.
Yeah.
But if you don't spend that money, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. If you don't, if you don't treat your family to a takeaway, it doesn't work. I've got friends who, for context, I rent.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother podcast, but I'm not that bothered that I rent. One day I'd like to own a house, but right here and now it's not physically and financially possible.
Yeah.
But I've got friends who have not gone out, like to the pub, for example, have not had any takeaways, have not bought any clothes for a whole year, have not done anything nice. And not everything nice costs money, but most things do.
Yeah.
For a whole year, if not 18 months, so they got a deposit for a house. Right, so they've won the long game,
Yeah.
but lost the moment. Let's be real, be honest. We could, and touch wood, we could crash our vans, get run over on the street, or get hit by lightning any moment. Lightning's probably less likely, but we could. So why does everyone plan for the future, plan for this, plan for that? You've only got 24 hours today. That's a long time.
Yeah, exactly that. And you've got to make the most of every single moment you get, because you never know what is around that corner. I'm in a very fortunate position that I do have a house, but it wasn't down to the fact that I'm good money, because I'm not in the slightest. I'm not you. I'll live. I'm not one of these. I'll squirrel away money for ages and ages and ages and ages to try and build it up. If I see a deal, if I want to do something, if I want to take the kids out, I'll go and do it. Because what's the point? You've got to do it. You've got to enjoy your life. Yeah. You don't go to work and slave away to sit there and tuck money away into the bank and live like you've got no money at all.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to enjoy yourself at the end of the day. But all of that will come at the end of the day, won't it?
Like hopefully one day this business gets to the place it will be, and it will either make me enough money or I'll sell it. Yeah. So whichever one will be, it will be. Exactly. If we wanted to right now, we could go rent our dream house.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to, swimming pool a lot. It would be a stupid way to spend your money, because it'd be, $3-4 grand a month, which is just mad. But I could.
Yeah.
So there's a, and I'm speaking to someone, there's a generational issue where our parents, our grandparents, that's what you did.
Yeah.
You went and bought a house, and that's it, you settled down. Well, that's not real.
No.
Like, it's not anymore anyway. The world, I was speaking to someone the other day, they've just got their mortgage has come up for renewal. It's going to go up like £900.
Yeah.
Well, my rent's not gone up.
No.
My rent is such a bad thing,
Yeah.
Speak to anyone over 50, 45, 50, what do you think about renting? Oh, no.
And that's the trouble. In episode 1 with Wayne, we were sitting talking about the pressures from how things used to be higher up generations. Yeah. We were talking on it on a men's mental health perspective, and how you have to be a man, you have to be manly, you weren't allowed to show your emotions. But it's the same thing with housing, and it's the same thing with business, and success. To be an entrepreneur isn't something that was looked upon well. Yeah. You're supposed to go out, work your 9 to 5, slave away your hours at work, tuck away your money, and keep building that up. And there's such a generational pressure on that being the norm, the way of life, that people like myself, like you, are totally outside of that norm. Because everyone's like, well, no, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah. And I always say to myself, I'm going to find out more information, but whoever invented this 8 to 5 is an absolute twat. There's no other way to put it. I'm reading a book at the moment called The 4-Hour Work Week. And some of the stuff is very lucky. And I'm like, come on, mate, this is not real. Don't be stupid. But, a part of what his sales calls are between 6 and 8 in the morning and 6 and 8 in the evening. Yeah. Because he gets traction. My staff are calling people between 8 and 5 because that's when they're here. Yeah. Well, the person they're trying to call, guess what they are? At work. Yeah. And guess what they can't do? Answer the phone. Like, my staff, this is not prison, but can't answer the phone about something that's completely irrelevant for them going kitchens for 45 minutes. They can't do it. So, why do we work 8 to 5? Yeah. I'll speak to my missus, and rightly so, every evening, about 5:30, what time are you going to be home? I'm like, about 6. Every day, same conversation. But why? If I went in at 12 o'clock and worked till 10, would I get more done?
And the chances are, it's probably yes. You know, because like you say, those hours outside of work are the optimum hours.
Yeah.
The hours 12 till 4, 5 o'clock would be you catching up on your paperwork and getting everything ready. From 4:30 till 10 o'clock, that would be your sales time. That would be when you're closing your deals. And there is this such rigidity, effectively, around that's when people should be starting, that's when they should be finishing. And it's not practical for the modern age. There's a guy that I was watching, and it was a TikTok clip that came up, and he was saying, "Oh, my work weeks are so much better than everybody else's. They're so much longer than everybody else's. I have 28 days in a week." And everyone was like, "What?" And he was like, "I get up, I work 6 hours, I go to bed. I get up, I work 6 hours, I go to bed." He was like, "I split my days up totally down from what everybody else is."
So he gets 2 days a day.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I don't know. And there was some other weird complication to it as well.
I think the problem with all of that as well is, I follow a guy on Instagram, quite a successful business. Never met him yet. I will reach out to him, but he's just gone to a Muay Thai boxing camp in like Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like, it looks amazing, and it's something that I'd really be interested in because you find your soul and cleanse your body and just like eat good for the whole week. But he ain't got kids.
Yeah, and that's true.
He doesn't have kids. Don't have a missus at home.
Yeah.
And this is as far as I know because I've been invited on a trip away this weekend to Barcelona with some business people, so I'm going. But naturally, I'm like shit. And not because she controls me, but she's with the kids all week on her own, and now I'm pissing off for the weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave here about 2 o'clock today, and I'm not leaving till 11 o'clock tomorrow. So I can just be there for a little bit, because I think it's a big topic that I'm learning about because I don't know enough about, but mums at home.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, right? So I'm at work all day and I'm talking to people all day. Literally, I think the average amount of phone calls I get a day is 42.
Yeah.
Plus emails, plus WhatsApps.
Yeah.
Plus my staff. Like, I want this pressure, but it is what it is. So when I get home at 6:37, I need to decompress. That's just how my body works. I just need to sit in silence or watch some rubbish cooking program and just not really understand what's going on. But she wants to talk.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, because I physically struggle to get the words out because I'm worded out, for better words. No,
there is, and there's that difference. She's been with kids all day. My missus is the same. She's been speaking to a 2.5-year-old and 2-year-old all day. All she wants is some adult conversation. Me and you have been the opposite end of the scale, and we've been having adult conversations all day. And once you've been on the phone constantly all day, like you say, what you want to do is switch off, and you're like, I really don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Actually appreciating she's had nothing but 2-year-old chat all day, or the age of your kids chat all day.
Well, yeah, they're 3 and 7. So
it's difficult. You need some adult input.
And she's gone nursery. She's come back. She's gone back to nursery at lunchtime. Come back, then go to school. Come back, dinner, bath, bed. I don't say enough to her, but we'd be lost.
Yeah.
There is no way. One, I think I could do that as my full-time job in inverted commas, because I like the change. That's repetitive. And two, I don't know how split parents do it.
Yeah.
I work it's your week, you do school run, and I can't do that.
No.
And it's we've done this podcast early today because I need to carry on with my day, but I'm here early.
Yeah.
Every day.
You've got it.
There's some showrooms and other businesses, they rock up at 9 o'clock every day, and I'm like, and leave at 5. So they've either mastered it, or they're not doing something.
Yeah.
One of the two. And I don't know, but it's really, but the pressure is on for me to deliver.
Yeah.
If they need something, I have to deliver it. As much as they don't say that, I'm not held at ransom, but things have to be delivered. The holidays have to be done.
No, but that all comes back to that self-pressure that you hold yourself to as a man.
Yeah.
If you're the one that's out there working, grinding, building your business up, you can't fail, because if you fail, it's not just like yourself you feel you've let down, it's your whole family who have put aside the fact that they've missed out on so much time with you due to you working and you building up this future for you all, and you feel so lost when you do let yourself down or something, or a project fucks up, or you have an issue, and you're like, oh my god, like,
Yeah. Twice, and we won't go into it too much, but twice I've had to go home. And bear in mind, I'm 31 next week. I had to go home and say, they've let me go.
yeah,
One was completely out of the blue, and one was because I was a fucking idiot.
yeah,
But I've learned from it,
yeah,
and straight away after back of him within a week, I've got another job.
yeah,
The last time it happened was the last company I worked for, and it just wasn't going the right way. And he goes, I don't think this is working, Luke. I already had everything else set up in the background. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So that was a nicer one, but
yeah,
it's still, she's like, shit, how are we going to pay for everything? I'm like, it'll be paid.
yeah,
Like, don't worry. There's a whole, I was watching something the other day on YouTube or TikTok or wherever it was, and someone goes, if you didn't, so it was a man or a lady, young man, I think, he'd stole some chicken from the co-op.
yeah,
And I was like, right. He went in the, I'm just trying to remember it, went in the co-op first the day before and said, do you have any like out-of-date food I can have?
yeah,
Got no money. They said, the usual. No, piss off, mate. Which was the usual for them. Like, that shouldn't be the usual for everyone. So, next day, and I don't know if he was homeless or like had a house or whatever, but he needed something to eat anyway. Went back the next day and was like, I'm not going to ask. Put his hood up, went round, got a couple of sandwiches, sausage rolls, pockets filled up, gone. They were waiting for him outside because they saw him on the camera. And there's this whole commotion started, and he just said, one day I'll pay you, but I've got no money.
yeah,
And I thought, and I sat there and thought to myself, and me and my missus have had this conversation before, if we had no food, I will let the world know now, and there was no way for me to get no money to borrow from friends, or I would steal it.
yeah,
And I hate thieves, absolutely hate them. I hate the wrong thieves.
yeah,
If you walked in here today because I left it open and nicked, I don't know what you can nick in here, speaker.
yeah,
I'd be pissed. Because that's not going to change your life.
no,
If you come in here, went into the fridge and nicked someone's lunch, someone's going to be pissed, but there's a reason.
yeah.
People don't steal food unless they're hungry.
No, exactly.
And we're in a society where the big chains are throwing food away every day. You know, I throw food away every day of some description, leftovers, more not food. Why is this world got such a stigma of, not even a stigma, why are there still people hungry?
Yeah.
Why is there still people homeless?
It's 2023 at the end of the
Yeah.
day. You know,
People are homeless.
we should be able to have changed things enough now. Well, it's like, you look at London. There are so many derelict buildings throughout London that are sat there rotting away. But the epidemic of homelessness is through the roof, you know, and has grown so much more since COVID. And why aren't they doing anything about it? Why aren't they using these derelict buildings to house people, to put someone in? You know, there's so many issues in this world that could be so easily resolved with the right input.
You know, obviously there's a lot going on in Eastern Europe at the moment with wars and everything else, like, which are absolutely catastrophic. But why are we not starting at home?
Yeah.
We never. I don't know what it is with this country. We don't look after our home. You know, let's send 30 million to that country. I saw there was a big football transfer from Chelsea on last week. Ukrainian guy. Yeah. A part of the deal, Chelsea has given £30 million to Ukraine. Like, don't get me wrong, Ukraine need that money, 100%. But so do we.
Yeah. You know,
how many homeless people are there around Chelsea? How many kids around Chelsea can't eat?
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a lovely part of Chelsea. There's also not the greatest part of West London. How many people are not eating? How many people are recovering, you know, alcoholics or drug addicts? How many people are suffering mental health? But I know, let's go give this money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what should happen is you give to both.
Yeah.
Because they've got it.
Yeah, oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Todd Bowley's got a big bank account that most people could ever dream of.
Exactly. And it comes back to the business and, you know, my whole pressure every day. You know, I've worked out my daily overhead, so I know how much this business costs to run a month. First of every month, I've got to make that money.
Yeah.
If I don't make that money, who pays my staff? Who pays my bills? Who pays for my car? Who puts food on my table? No one. I wouldn't get any support.
No, and it's a lot of pressure as well. You know, the minute you start employing people, not only are you then responsible for your own family and your own livelihood, but you then got all those other people because everybody else has got families to feed, bills to pay, you know, stuff to do. And once you've got them employees in full time, they just think, "Oh, that's all right. We'll do this. We'll do the job. Get to the end of the month, get the paycheck."
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, are sitting there thinking, right, we've got to close this deal, we've got to close that deal, we've got to get this project finished so that I can pay this, and I've still got that sat in the bank. It's a huge amount of pressure,
Yeah.
And, you know, I know you're a gym goer, but what methods do you use to try to decompress that pressure?
Yeah, I think gyms. So I've only been going gym properly since October last year. There's a guy upstairs from us who had an office. He's since moved, but he moved over from Croydon or something like that. He said, like, "Oh, go gym. I need someone to go gym with." Absolute tank. I'm like, "Well, this could work." So we go every morning at 6 o'clock. That helps me start my day because if I didn't go there at 6 o'clock, I'd come here.
Yeah.
So I'm saving myself an hour of stress ultimately. The other thing is football.
Yeah.
I used to play twice, 3 times a week. I'm now only playing once because I've stopped weekends because the kids and everything else. But it's the only time I don't have my phone near me because I can't.
Yeah.
I can't answer a call even if I wanted to. I completely forget. And I'm learning very, very slowly, especially over Christmas, to turn off.
Yeah.
I turned off on Christmas. I had 4 or 5 calls, lots of emails, didn't reply to any. I had one message, someone WhatsApped me who hadn't got my number, I don't know. I said, "Any chance you can speak? I just want to understand a little bit more." And I was like, "Yeah, fine. I've got a 10 minute slot at 12 o'clock on this day. Can you speak?" She said, "Yeah, of course." So we spoke literally for 10 minutes and that was it. And that just kept my finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Because I could have quite easily gone into a little bit of a coma and forgot how to sell kitchens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sport really. Sport's the main one.
Well, at least it's been a less stressful year for you this year as a Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that it's weird, right? So I like to go to Arsenal as much as I can.
Yeah.
My missus keeps saying she wants to come to Arsenal as well, which she will go on one day. But I'm a different person. I'm not a hooligan, but I'm shouting and just shouting to the point where I give myself a headache. But I said it to someone. Maybe it was Neil I was talking to, who you guys may meet soon, Mr. Neil Giller. I always plug him. He was like, "Yeah, as much as you are really passionate about football and you love it, it's actually something else. You're letting out. There's nowhere else you can shout. Because if you shout like that on the football pitch, you're like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because they're probably shouting at you and you're just going to shout back.
Yeah.
But you just let go. You can be an absolute, and there are some really serious idiots at football.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm an idiot, I'd say I'm a twat.
You got to be a bit of a twat in life.
Yeah. But I just let you know, I'm like, get him, and everyone's like, get who? If you'd done it at home, you'd be mad. I actually do it at home as well. I know what's the football. But
I did see on your Insta the video in your living room the other day.
I'll send you that video and maybe you can put it in. It's quite funny,
Jumping about that. It's got to be done though, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I thought someone knocked on the door, so I had a quick peek at the curtain.
It's got to be done, and it's an amazing way to just decompress and switch off and actually enjoy yourself and let some of that emotion out.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, mate. So, being in construction now, understanding the stresses as a boss, but also understanding the stresses as an employee as well, which have been in both sorts of roles. What changes do you think could be implemented to help people with mental health?
I think the biggest thing, and I've done a little bit of a video on my Instagram before Christmas, the biggest problem in every industry is people.
Yeah.
And people understanding. So Christmas is probably the most stressful time in the construction industry because we all close and we all got to finish jobs.
Yeah.
And no one really wants to carry many jobs over. throughout the year we're building jobs and we're taking more on, and we do it stupidly. I've actually said to myself, for next year, we're not going to fit any kitchens in December.
Yeah.
We're not going to start any new kitchens in December because the pressure we are put under is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want this done. So you're turning things around that should be done in 3 weeks into a week. The boys are working 16-hour days. I'm on the phone for 16 hours because I've got to be there. So I think the biggest thing that could change is the clients need to be educated more.
Yeah.
That's got to be first. Because if they're educated and they understand, no one is deliberately, just from my context, holding up your kitchen. No one is deliberately delaying workshop people. No one is deliberately delaying the appliance people. Things will just run. If you're just like, I want my kitchen, can you get it done for me? As quickly as humanly possible. Most people say, yes, of course, miss, we'll get it done. The pressure's off.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing. Our clients need to be educated, but only we can educate them. So if more of us are saying in our initial T&Cs and things like that, we are humans, we will get things done as quickly as possible. We don't need and I don't know how we word this, but we don't need the added stress or pressure.
Yeah.
So please don't apply it.
I think that's a huge thing. People forget that you are human.
Yeah.
They just see that sign, that badge, that company name, and they just...
We had a couple before Christmas, and we were meant to go there. One of my fitters pulled his back out. One of my fitters was ill, so we had no one.
Yeah.
And I called him up. This was on the Friday, so I called them up, and we were meant to go there on Monday. This was the Thursday. We were meant to go there on Monday. Called them up on the Friday, saying, "This is what happened yesterday. I don't have another good enough fitter to come. I've got a substandard fitter that does cheaper projects, but he's not the high end project that you are.
Yeah.
So I think we should delay it." I absolutely lost her shit. Was like, I literally just put the phone there and she was still going for like 5 minutes. I picked it up and go like, "Are you finished?" She goes, No. And it went more. And I was like, fine. And then it just got hung up. We didn't say no more. And I sat there and thought to myself, you don't pay me enough for this.
Yeah.
I haven't made enough money on your kitchen for this shit. Like, I'm well within my right to say, sorry, not coming. If they called in sick to their job,
yeah,
they call in sick.
Yeah.
Why are we not allowed to call in sick?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And there is, and I think it's a lot of blue collar industries. There's this whole perception that we're just indestructible. We should always be there. We should always be at their beck and call. And they want to add on this, and this. It should just be done just because we're there.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not the way it works. We're still going and doing our job. We're still working away, just like you are in your various other role. We're still there to make money. We're still there to be treated like human beings. We still have feelings. We still have emotion. And I think that's another huge issue with, a lot of the mental health issues in the industry. Because when I'm a very fond believer, everything is resolvable with a good conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
But 9 times out of 10, that conversation won't happen. A client will just all of a sudden, out of the blue, bang, lose it, scream it up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, hold on. If there was an issue with that, why don't you just speak to me about it? That's easier to resolve.
Yeah.
Instead, you've gone off at me like I'm not a human being stood in front of you. What's that all about? A bit of kindness, a bit of respect. Sam, that's the issue. Can we have a chat about it?
Yeah.
No problem. We can resolve that straight away for you. Not an issue. But people just don't see blue collar industries as human beings.
And that's like my team now. We're getting to a place where we need to tell people about problem once we know before they know. Like we tell them. So this happened, and they'll go, "Oh shit, no, but we've got this solution." All right, fine. So I think that's the first thing our clients need to be. We need to educate our clients, whether we do it initially or after. But this is the time frame of the project. It might change. Just being honest. Every new client I speak to, at the moment, they're like, right. So they're looking at the main kitchen shops or the sheds, whatever you want to call them. And he had a good price, a good product. I'm like, right, cool. Let's just lay this down. Average kitchen is 200 pieces going to be delivered. Let me promise you something will go wrong, whether that's damaged, missing, or ordered wrong. You need that resolved quickly. Then big companies won't do that.
No.
And they're like, oh, still don't register. It's just like, oh. And when they're like, what do you mean something will go wrong? I'm like, yeah. I've been doing this for like 13 years now, nearly. and I don't think I've ever had a kitchen be seamless.
Yeah.
Whether that's, we've had kitchens, everything's gone, nothing's damaged, then the wall's not plumb, or the measurements changed, or the waste pipe's in the wrong place, or my supplier have sent a couple of damaged doors, or I've missed a unit off.
Yeah.
I've just done a kitchen not that long ago. I would say it's my mistake because I'll take full responsibility, in the wrong colour. In terms of, it's only 4 units. The kitchen and the island's fine. The 4 units on the side that were going to be sideboard are the wrong colour. Customer goes, Luke, they're not the right colour. I'm looking at the paperwork and I'm like, they are. I know you spoke about another colour, but paperwork says they're not. I'm like, it's cool, tomorrow we'll sort it.
Yeah.
We'll sort it. So we tried this time to get some stuff sprayed up, like bit custom colours for them. Yeah, whatever, done. So I think that's the first thing, our clients. I think the second thing is the talking.
Yeah.
It is a male-dominated sector, the construction industry. It just is. It shouldn't be, but it just is. We spoke about it briefly at my networking event with I can't remember his name, but he was sort of under the impression that men weren't allowed to cry.
Yeah.
Men are not allowed to show weakness. It's bullshit.
Oh, Sam. It was Sam.
Yeah. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Every construction site should have, or every company should have a mental health well-being officer of some description. I've got one.
Yeah.
My staff have access to Neil Giller.
Yeah.
You want him, you speak to him, book him in, and I pay for it. I don't want to know anymore. There's Neil's remit. If I really need to know in terms of like a safety issue, tell me. Otherwise, I don't care. Well, I do care, but that's what you're for.
Yeah.
Because I can't be the emotional supporting boss and the sales driven boss as well. It doesn't work. I can't be them two people.
No, it doesn't work at all.
If they walked in crying today, yes, of course, but I can't manage that as well, just as a person as well, because then I get emotionally involved and won't want to tell you what to do every day.
It then clouds your judgment as a boss as well. You know, trying to cross over them is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But in the fact that you have Neil there, Neil's amazing. Neil will be on here in a few weeks' time. But you, as a company, having Neil available, you're a rarity.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of it out there. And, you know, especially in construction, suicide rates are going through the roof.
Yeah.
This is something that needs to be addressed more, it needs to be dealt with more, and there needs to be more companies out there doing things like this.
But obviously, and I think the stigma is going, like we were talking about with Sam, that people now know they can talk. There's lots of podcasts on this with high-profile people.
Yeah.
But some people don't, like, you know, some people doing a podcast like this today, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Only because I built up that social media presence. It's quite comfortable. I'm not that bothered. But some people, this is an absolute nightmare. You know, one of our new starters who started last Friday, she's in today. Today she has to do her Instagram story. Part of her journey. You know, we need to introduce yourself to our clients. Like, I know she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to put a gun to her head and make her do it, but she's got to overcome that fear. Because it's a part of our industry. Social media is very important. But I think we just need to talk. You know, I'm dropping him in, but Neil and another guy, George Theodosu, talk about when you see someone and you speak to someone. So if you walked in the showroom now, I'd be like, Sam, you right? They go, yeah. I'd be like, cool. But what we should actually say, and I'm my own worst enemy for forgetting to do it sometimes, but Sam, you right? And you'll go, yeah. No, Sam, really? Are you all right? And if you are, you'll go, yeah, Luke, I'm cool. If you're not, you'll be like, oh, you won't believe it.
Yeah.
Ask twice. Ask everyone twice. At some point in the day, I'll ask my staff twice, you all right? And they'll go, yeah. Are you sure? Well, actually, and like some of it's just completely irrelevant, like you forgot your lunch, but it's relevant. So I think people are starting to talk more, but the whole issue is the pressure. If the pressure was off, and we've got to have pressure, otherwise it'll be, I don't know what country, but just like an absolute go slow nation.
Yeah.
Like we'll start walking backwards. But it's the pressure. The pressure needs to be tweaked down. The pressure to pay your bills. The pressure to get your kids to school on time. The pressure to bring the bacon home, for better words.
Yeah.
The pressure to have nice clothes. Pressure to have nice cars.
It's that whole image, isn't it? And it's that whole belief.
If that could get toned down what did I read the other day? One of the politicians has been using the RAF jet to fly around the country, like shock. But that costs a stupid amount of money. Some people can't even afford to go to Southend.
No, exactly that. It's
Yeah.
just, world is a crazy place at the minute. So one final question for you then, before we the busy work day begins. If you could go back to 18-year-old self, and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh shit. I think if I could go back to being an 18-year-old, I would have spoke to my mentors.
Yeah.
So I've got two. I've got a business coach and George and a life coach. I would have spoke to them then.
Yeah.
Because in running a business, you don't get taught it at school. You get taught one thing about it.
No.
So I've got into this world and know nothing about it. So I'm learning on the job every day. I'm learning quick. But if I knew this then, where could I be now?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I would have got a mentor that's not emotionally attached. I think that's the key thing with a mentor. It's not your missus, it's not your mum, dad, or sister, or a friend. It's people outside.
It's that third party perspective.
Yeah.
It's an outsider looking in.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's what I do. And I recommend it highly if you're in business and you want guidance. It costs a bit of money, but get a coach.
It's so worth it. I put a thing up the other day. Even coach needs a coach.
Yeah.
I'm starting to work with Neil.
Yeah.
I think Neil's amazing. Absolutely fantastic bloke. But I also work with a guy called Tom Nash as well. I was only with him Friday having a business coaching session. Even coach needs a coach. Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's well worth. It's an investment in yourself at the end of the day.
Yep. Wicked.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on, Luke.
Cheers, mate.
Just want to tell our listeners where they can find you.
Yeah. So at FNL Kitchens on Instagram, FNLKitchens.co.uk, and we're based in Cuffley, just opposite the train station. So, but Sam will drop it all in.
Details will be in the bio below. Thank you very much for coming on today.
Thanks, mate. See you soon.
Fantastic episode, buddy.
Take care.